Hello everyone, my name is Chip Boaz and I'm here to talk about the track of the week from my playlist, The Low End Jazz Bassists, which you can find on Spotify and Apple Music. This edition's track is Holy Spirit from bassist Charnett Moffett off his brand new album, Bright New Day. Now, it's interesting because Charnett is a name that I have been familiar with in the jazz world for quite a while, but I've never really dug in as deeply as I should. And boy, I should have, because I learned a lot about looking into his history and seeing all the cool stuff he did. Now, Charnett grew up in a musical family, and actually his name is a combination of his father's name, Charles, who was a drummer, and the name Charnett, who was his father's boss. Ornette Coleman, there's a jazz name for you. So Charnett grew up in this environment of listening to people like Ornette Coleman and all sorts of great jazz musicians, and really taking in that spirit of freedom, improvisation, and all the great things that jazz brings with it. Now, he grew up playing music and went to the Juilliard School of Music for about this long before he was on the road with Wynton Marsalis, which led to just a long stream of work with amazing jazz artists, everyone from Art Blakey to Herbie Hancock, Arturo Sandoval, McCoy Tyner, the list goes on and on. Charnett also, at the same time, was pursuing a career as a leader and has released a long line of really interesting and diverse albums. Everything from full band albums to solo bass works and duets with guitar. A really interesting collection of recordings as a leader. And Bright New Day is another step that follows that trend. This album really caught me by surprise in a great way, because I've always considered Charnett a double bass player who played electric bass sometimes, but I was totally wrong. This album, Bright New Day, Charnett fully embraces the electric bass. It's a fully electric album where he is playing his fretless bass all over it, and he's bringing in the inspiration from some specific musicians, Jaco, Ornette, and Miles Davis. Those are some three heavy names right there, and you hear them spiritually all through the album. Now, Holy Spirit starts with a real kind of intense rock vibe, with Charnett laying down a line, kind of in and out, doubled by violin and a big rock groove happening, before Charnett goes into the melody on his fretless bass. There's a really kind of intense vibe that goes along with it that has this ominous sense about it. It opens up into first a piano solo and then kind of a collective improvisation from violin and guitar. And here, Charnett really just lays it down. A really aggressive rhythmic approach, note choices really smart, and you hear that influence of Jaco in the line right here, which is really, really powerful. After all this, Charnett goes into his own solo, and he plays with this really wonderful sense of phrasing that pulls ideas from the melody and from the bass line and interweaves that with original thoughts in a really creative way. Now, I love Charnett's phrasing and articulation. One of the things in particular is the vibrato he brings into the fretless bass. You can hear it's like a double bass vibrato, which works so well right there. And he plays with this sense of fearlessness throughout, which is really powerful and really captivating. The whole album is like this and is such a great listen, full of surprises all the way around that'll really have you coming back for more. So please go back to the playlist. Check out Holy Spirit. It's the first track on the playlist this week. And if you like what you hear, go buy Bright New Day. You'll be glad you did. There's so much good stuff on there. I encourage you to subscribe to the Low End Jazz Bassist so every week you can catch all the updates. And until next time, enjoy the music.